Wonderful. Once again, a very, very good evening. It's a wonderful evening, and especially in India, especially in Mumbai, where we have some amazing rains. So मौसम बड़ा सुहाना है. And today on Billennium Divas show, we have a very, very special guest. He is Coach Chirag Gujarati. So Chirag, bhai, welcome to Billennium Divas show. Thank you
Thank you
so much
very much.
for joining us.
Thank you.
It's a
It's great
privilege
to
and
be here
honor.
on this platform.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a great privilege to have you, and we are very, very, very honored to uh, be talking about one of the very, very imperative subjects that I have been advocating, for almost like 3, 4 years. The first time when we heard about this, and its implementations in today's modern world, which is very, very important. So let me quickly introduce you very briefly, and then we will move directly into the objective of today's session, right? Once again, very warm welcome, Chirag Bhai. Chirag Bhai is the Dean of Innovation and Strategic Initiatives at Midas School of Entrepreneurship, Pune, Design Thinking and Agile Coach. He is an educationist, a learning designer, a system innovator, who engineers educational experience that promotes establishment of startups, innovation, and entrepreneurship. He is a ICA certified agile coach with over 17 years of success in mentoring and promoting startups, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And he has successfully mentored more than 200 plus entrepreneurs globally since 2014. He's also established an own strategic direction for digital transformation and education institution and leading establishments of three higher education institutions in India and Ireland. Wow, very impressive profile. Chirag bhai, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So today's topic is on design thinking for entrepreneurship, and uh, you know, uh, I have personally seen there has been a lot of shift in the way entrepreneurship is looked at, especially in the startup ecosystem today, right? And today, consumer engagement or customer engagement is playing a very pivotal role, especially post pandemic. And you know, people or your consumers are no more loyal to a certain brand. The reason is because they look for more opportunities and more value. And when I say word value, it actually talks about the kind of value that you as a business start, right? So could you just give us a brief about what exactly is design thinking in the first place?
Well, you know, design thinking is something. It's a term that we started using. Probably a decade ago. However, if you look back in the history of you know humankind, uh, we as individuals or humans have the tendency of identifying something that is not right, and making it right by coming up with certain options that we have. So design thinking is one of the ways where it's a method to solve complex problems. Right now, there are a lot of people who says that it's just a plain simple problem solving tool, which it is not. If I want to go from my office to my home, I can't use design thinking. But of course, if there are complex problems, for example, there is high attrition rate in an organization, my sales are not taking off even after spending a lot of money on marketing. It's a complex problem. I'm not able to bring the cost down of my product, even after using a low price raw material. That's a complex problem. So design thinking is something which we normally use to solve complex problems in business, in society, um, in the world around us, in the governmental setup as well. I mean, if you hear the term design thinking, or if you hear the term innovation, it normally comes with the term design thinking. The new product development that's happening around the world, um, the incremental innovation, the disruptive innovation that's happening around the world. I think design thinking has been at the core of all innovation that has happened in last several years. And a lot of entrepreneurs, uh, startup founders, business leaders have used design thinking, knowingly or unknowingly, to their benefit, to come up with solutions that are innovative in nature, creative in nature, which are human centric. Um I think that's something which is very important for someone who wants to use design thinking as a tool for a complex business solving. Uh, all it's the entire term design thinking is focused around uh, human centric approach. Everything that we do, the product that we develop, the systems that we develop, the approaches that we develop, the business model that we develop, or the financial model that we develop, if they are all developed keeping the human aspect at the center of it, we are actually using design thinking. So that's the uh, evolution of design thinking, and how people are using design thinking to solve problems in business and society, right from companies like Apple, Google, Coke, Samsung, you name it, and they are using it. These are the giants who are using design thinking, including Indian companies like Infosys, and other major companies. So design thinking has become, I mean, 10 years back it was something that was a buzzword, and today it is something which has become a necessity in most businesses when it comes to innovating a new way of doing things, which are human centric or user centric in nature. So that's design thinking in a nutshell.
Wow. Very, very simply put. I think it's a brilliant uh, explanation about design thinking, because the word itself, design thinking, sounds so heavy. A lot
Hmm.
of time it confuses with technology design, or maybe something that you are going to do from a product design perspective as well, right? But
Right.
I think it is not just about product or technology. I think it's also about improving your processes, bringing out new ideas, bringing out new processes, new systems. I think this is something that is being there, done that, as you rightly said, right? My next question to you, Chiragji, is that a lot of today's startup entrepreneurs, especially when they're at a very early stage, right? They struggle with a lot of problems, and one of the biggest problem is money or cash, and that comes with two ways. One is the consumer, because I think
Hmm.
that's the first better way to have investments coming in into the business. The second is going out, maybe go to an equity or a debt or a mezzanine model, right, where you want to scale up. Uh, the latter part we will not pick up. Right? The first part is which is very crucial when you are starting up, or when you are a startup, or when you're growing, right? Is the importance of consumer engagement. And so how can you utilize design thinking in terms of understanding what your consumers want, or how do you use design thinking in terms of improving your processes and your systems, or innovating new products? Your thoughts?
Right. I think it's a very important question. Especially a lot of you know youngsters, youth, at a very young age, or in fact, in that matter, a lot of professionals who are taking entrepreneurial route. Uh, uh, the problem is that the founder, me, as a founder feels that there is a problem in business or in society or in certain processes, but is my feeling that problem enough? If the question here is, do I know there are, if there are 100 more people who are feeling the same problem? I think empathy, which is the crux of design thinking, which tries to solve that problem and understand at the core as to what our users are going through. Because I think, I mean, we live in a world where we fall in love with the products that we are developing. Unfortunately, we need to fall in love with the solutions and for the people for whom we are developing the solutions. I've come across a lot of startup founders who have brilliant ideas, are you know uh, developing certain products which are probably futuristic in nature. Unfortunately, they kind of miss the bus where they don't even interact with the users or the people who are going to use the product. So I think empathy is very important. Understand what your users are going through. You know, it's as simple as I use a lot of stories in my coaching sessions where understanding your user's problem. Let's say I am an architect, uh, and uh, or I have probably in my 15-20 years of career accumulated a good amount of money, and now I want to build a nice bungalow for me and my family, and I hire an architect who happens to be my friend, who knows me since my childhood. Now I hire this architect and tell him that I want to build my dream house on this 500 yards of uh, square meter of land that I have just acquired. And the architect says, Chirag, I understand what you want. Come after a year and a half, and your dream house will be ready. I go there after a year and a half, and I see a house, a big house, a nicely done, neat, clean, nicely decorated house. But that's not my dream house. The problem is the architect told me that he will build the dream house for me, but he never asked me what my dream house looks like. So uh, in the process, he didn't even uh, try to understand what my needs are, what my problems are, what my requirements are, and according to me, what kind of dream house that I want to see or I want to live in. He just thought that whatever he thinks is a dream house, he built it. So in the end, it was a house, it was a dream house, but it was his dream house, not my dream house. This is where empathy comes into picture, right? uh, unless we get to the core, get to the bottom of what our users problems and needs and requirements are, we may not be able to build the product that solves their problem. We may be able to build a product that looks fine, looks great, but may not be solving that specific problem. So I think that's where there's a difference. A lot of startup founders need to realize that please don't start building product. First go out there in the market, identify who your segments are, who your users are, what problems they are facing, why they are facing problems, put yourself in their shoes, then slowly start building prototypes. It could be a low fidelity prototype. Then you start the building process. Unfortunately, a lot of people start product development first, and then they start identifying who my users are. Whereas in design thinking, we first identify who our users are, we understand what pain they are going through, and based on that, we come up with a few ideas as to what can solve their pain or problems, make some prototypes, take these prototypes to them and then validate. So we are making the process, we are reversing the process, but in the end, We are making something that is useful for our users, not only something that we feel that it's good. I think that's where we need to pay attention to as startup founders.
Fantastic. I think it's a great uh, thought. It's a great tool. It's a great method to identify uh, the problems at a very early stage. And I think this is what we are going to be covering. In fact, I'm glad that you're going to be actually covering this in this upcoming program that we have announced called the Edge program, which is actually scheduled on the from the 22nd to 25th of September. And this is going to be a physical program that is going to be a 3 days certification program that me along with Chirag ji, Pooja, and Parag ji also is going to be doing. And this is going to be happening on the from the 22nd to 25th of September. It's going to be a residential program, physical program of 3 days, power packed, where we are talking about design thinking, we're talking about innovation, we're talking about sales, we're talking about strategy, marketing, so on and so forth, right? So thank you so much, Chirag. My last question, and the reason why I'm saying is last question is because I think uh, this is something that keeps hampering my mind, and whenever I take such kind of initiatives or interviews, right? Uh, do you think design thinking can actually help founders to innovate products? That's one part of the question. The second part uh, is it necessary that organizations should use design thinking only at the start, or is it a continuous process?
Well, I think it's like this. Design thinking is one of the many tools that uh, entrepreneurs or startup founders can use. It definitely can help them come up with innovative process, because at the heart of design thinking, it's such a beautiful thing, right? Consider your startup as a baby, right? When it's born, you put it in an incubator so that it gets the right kind of nutrition and light and temperatures and all those things. uh, then you give it some sort of nutrition, let him or her grow, make sure that the growth process is taken care of, there is right kind of food, care, love, is given to the startup. Similarly, when you are getting into startups, right, um, you are born with an idea, right, actually. And that idea, if you trace it back, is an outcome of a problem that you want to solve, or a problem that you have identified, and then you want to use certain, you know uh, using ideation, you want to use certain options to see how efficiently I can solve that problem. So design thinking has users at its core, not only the users as in the customers, also those who are developing the product, those who are going to be using the product, those who are going to be directly or indirectly related to your enterprise. It certainly helps innovating. The reason being, we are using tools such as brainstorming, we are using tools for creative thinking, we are using tools such as empathy maps, we are using tools such as storytelling, uh, you know and so on and so forth. So prototyping, I mean, you are actually building a product before even starting your business. So prototyping is something which actually is a visual representation of your innovative idea, right? So it actually is going to, in fact, as you have mentioned, that we are going to have this session on 23rd to 25th on Midas campus in Pune. I can guarantee that those people who are participating in that program, in 3 days, you will have an innovative solution a product, a service, a process, or a business model, or an innovative solution to your problem in 3 days' time. And not only a solution which is in your mind, but a solution is which is tangibly available, which you can actually show it to your users, to people out there in the market. So that's something which we are going to work on. To coming to the second part of your question, where should we use it in the beginning of the starting the venture, or use it throughout? I think the answer lies in the entire process. Right? Design thinking works in a loop. It starts but it never ends. It's like this. I come up with a product or a service which is innovative in nature, but maybe 2 3 4 6 months down the line, it's no longer going to be an innovative product, because if it is successful, then there are people who are going to uh, follow, right, who are going to come up with similar products and services because it's working, right? Because not everybody is an innovator, right? Design thinking makes you an innovator for life. And as you reach that stage where there are other people who are following, you need to again get back into that loop as to, now that I have this product, how I can make this product better, how I can make life better for my users. It's very simple. Every morning when we get up, when you update your phone, every day there are 3 or 5 apps that you need to keep updating, right? uh, that's, you are making things better, you know or let's take example of Apple. um, you know e- every year in October, right, they come up with a new phone. Why? It's because it's not because it's Diwali here in India. It's because uh, for from January to September, they are working on how they can make their products better, incorporate feedback that they have received from the user base, identify problems that they have, their users are facing, making their product better and putting them back in the market. This constant loop of innovation has given them that upper edge, where year after year after year, Apple has been considered as the most innovative or design centric or user centric company. They are never in the business of mobile phones. They are in the business of designing innovation, right? Which actually, I mean, I keep using iPhone every year, and I keep updating my phone every year, because every time they come up with some, they never fail to amaze, uh, their users, delight their users. And hence, design thinking is a constant process. It's a never-ending process. Be it a startup, be it an SME, an established business, a corporate, or a multinational giant. I think it's something which is like a, probably a blessing to this business, who want to keep innovating. So yeah, I mean, it's a way of life, actually. Design thinking, it's not just in books or in process. It's a way of life. How, I mean, in my at my home, if I have a problem, I still use some of the things. I mean, who is facing the problem, and why is the problem, and what are the different options that I have. So going through the stages of design thinking, empathy, understand your user, define what the problems are. If there's a एक चूहा घर में घुस आया है, तो मैं उसके लिए केज नहीं लाऊंगा, क्योंकि वो रोज घुसेगा, मैं रोज केज लाऊंगा. द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट वो कहीं पे तो भी होल हो गया है दीवार में, इसलिए वो घर में घुस रहा है. आई हैव टू फिक्स दैट होल, नॉट कीप बाइंग द केज. I think
Correct.
that's the beauty of design thinking is.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think it's you rightly mentioned, it's fixing the problem and not
Yeah,
trying to bring in new products without understanding the problem.
yeah,
I think that's the beauty of design thinking. This reminds me of another concept called TRIS, theory of inventive problem solving. It works in a very similar way where it helps you to eliminate a certain process or a problem before actually you start using the methodology and trying to create a new product or a new solution around that. I think, as you rightly said, it's actually a mindset. It's actually a way of life. It's a way of business. That is what design thinking does to you. It actually conditions your mind to bring in innovative solutions. If I have to say that in a very very
Yeah,
crude or a very very simple manner, I think. Thank you, Chiragji. I think it's a wonderful learning for me as well. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm a student
my
of life,
pleasure.
is what I say, and this is going to be exciting for me also, especially since we are going to be conducting this 3 days program in the month of September 22nd, 25th, right? And
Yes.
I'm surely going to be not missing your class for that matter, because it has excited me as well. I used to look around design thinking. I used to read a bit about it, but what has happened today is you've actually conditioned the process of thinking in a much much strategic way. So to all our viewers, to all the startups out there, to all the entrepreneurs, I think this program that we are conducting is not just for startups. It is for also for entrepreneurs. It is for MSMEs, because today no longer you are just a CEO or a CXO in an organization. I think you are the brand ambassador for your
Yes.
business. You are the leader for your business, and if you are able to guide your team by using methodologies such as design thinking, it will definitely help you up the edge in today's competitive world. So, please, 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 I would request all of you to at least go through the 3 days program that we are conducting. And this is going to be a certification program. It's a joint certification, with Midas School of Entrepreneurship and Billennium Divas together for all you entrepreneurs out there. And trust me, this is a limited seat. We are not taking more than 20 participants to a max 25, because it's a 3 days residential program, and you're not just going to be learning. It's not just going to be a theory. It's going to be a more practical implementation
Yes.
of what you learn over a period of 3 days. And if you're going to look at bringing new innovations in the market, or improving your processes, or for that matter, adding value to your consumers, I think you should be a part of this 3 days program. So mark your dates. It's 22nd to 25th September. The venue is Midas campus. It's a beautiful campus. Trust me, I've fallen in love with that place. And every time I go to Pune, I travel to Pune, I feel I should be there as a part of that entire vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem that Midas has built. So thank you so much, Chiragji, for your
My
wonderful,
pleasure.
valuable time.
Thank you.
But
Thank
more
you. And it
importantly,
was great interacting with you. And I hope this program, becomes useful, is useful to a lot of entrepreneurs and startup founders. And truly, both of us and all of us, the entire team is looking forward to welcoming the innovation enthusiasts on campus.
wonderful. Thank you so much. With that, we end with this episode of the Billion Divas show. Look forward for the next episode of Billion Divas show with the next guest speaker with us. Till then, take care. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.